Hey, welcome to the Science Masterclass. Today we're going to learn about reproduction in plants. My name is Mr. Salagaris and this is part of my Year 8 Science Biology course. Okay, so some plants reproduce sexually and others reproduce asexually. We're going to talk about both of those in this video today. With sexual reproduction in plants, the female gamete is called the ovum. That's found at the base of the stigma inside the ovary. The female reproductive system of the plant is called the carpel. Okay, so if we look at our diagram here, the stigma is situated just at the top here. And then as you move your way down, you've got your style, the ovary, and then the little lumps on the side, or the little sacs on the side, are called the ovules. That's the female eggs, or the gametes of the flower. The male gametes are the pollen grains of the flower. This is located on the anther, so just here. On the anther, the male parts are called the stamens. So this whole area here, including the filaments, is the anther. Okay. There's other parts of the flower like the sepals, the petals, and so on and so forth. But for the male reproductive system, we're looking at these parts here, and the female reproductive system, we're looking at what is on this side here. Okay. So for the processes of reproduction, for it to occur sexually, pollen must make its way from that anther into the stigma and make its way into the ovule where fertilization can occur. For that to happen, flowers need help from other organisms or the environment. So plants have developed a pretty smart bunch of strategies such as their smell, size, shape, or color to help attract other organisms to pollinate them. So you might have some plants that smell particularly nice or particularly disgusting. That's designed to get a particular animal, could be an insect, could be a bird, could be a mammal, to try and pollinate it. So they're all designed specifically for the purpose of being able to fertilize that egg effectively. Okay, so if we look back at this image here, for fertilization to occur, that pollen must make its way from the anther here to the top of the stigma and work its way through the style down to the ovary and into the ovules there where fertilization of the egg can occur. So when pollen from the same plant or flower fertilizes the ovary, it's called self-pollination. But when pollen from another plant or a similar species, when pollen from plants of a similar species fertilizes the ovary, it's called cross-pollination. So self-pollination, when that happens, you've got less genetic diversity of the offspring because you've just got pollen or the gametes from the same plant fertilizing itself. Whereas when you cross-pollinate it, you've got gametes from other different species which are increasing the amount of genetic information that offspring has. Okay, let's talk about asexual reproduction. Here we go. Asexual reproduction is often called vegetative reproduction. It doesn't involve a male or female parts or fertilization. Parts of the plant break off and survive, making a new organism. Okay, so down here we've got a whole bunch of different types of vegetative reproduction. It's a hard word to say. I'm going to talk briefly about all these ones. I apologize that it's somewhat difficult to read there. What you can see in red or underlined in red are examples of plants that do that. So plantlets, starting at number 1, are tiny plants that grow on the parent then drop off. So a great example of that is cacti and succulents. For adventitious buds, so number 2, they're a form of shoot on the root. So like if you think of mangroves, how they have shoots on the roots of the plant that come up, the aerial roots there. For suckers are roots that grow towards the ground and produce shoots. So blackberries are a great example of that one. Rhizomes are underground stems. So ginger is a plant that has rhizomes. Stolons are runners. So in plants like strawberries, you'll notice that they've got like part of the plant growing off to the side. That's called a runner. That stem of that plant When it comes in contact with the ground, it can form roots, and then that plant can grow. Tubers develop segments as they grow. So if you think of garlic, how it's got all the little bulbs when you buy it from the shop, those individual segments of the garlic can then grow into garlic plants. Tubers, they grow on roots. So you think of your potatoes, they grow as like balls. So the potatoes that you see grow on the roots of the potato plant, and corms can be broken into pieces which make them new plants. So if you think of a daffodil bulb, they have little tiny nodules on them which get broken off, and then you can plant those nodules as a separate daffodil plant. Okay, hey, let's summarize our main points that we talked about today. We talked about the reproductive systems of plants. We looked at sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction, the parts or the male and female reproductive parts of a flower. We talked about different processes of reproduction and strategies, and we also talked about different types of asexual reproduction. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If there's a point that you missed, make sure you go back and watch it, like this video, comment on it, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hey, thanks for watching.